Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko.
How's it going?
I am inside the firm. That's how it's going.
For the first time today?
First time today. Lance Cayko himself.
Awesome.
Inside the firm. And now you are too, listeners.
Yes.
Al's been here all day, right? Or you been in and out?
No, I've been in Denver. I've been...
oh, wow. Went to D-Town. Came back. Look at you. That's why you're looking sharp today.
Yeah, exactly. I got Mark's shirt on, too.
I love Mark's shirt.
Mark, love...
Mark LePage, his shirt.
Inside the firm.
Yep.
Love, learn, share. So that's awesome. So speaking of those, this is a really good transition. Goals. Goals for next year. Goals.
We are winding down the year. It is the second week of December. Soon we're going to be hitting Christmas, and then nothing happens after that until after the 1st, honestly.
Yep.
I'm going to be taking a nice week, a whole week out of the office entirely, and just working from the couch, working from home, hanging out with the fam. Are you doing the same, or are you going in? You can't. You get that kid.
I got that
kid, baby. That baby
just
not let you rest.
I'll split some. I'll be here and there, but I mean, if he sees me, it is playtime. It is hit daddy with things. Try to crawl on him.
Smack him around.
I was trying to work a little bit last night on my lap, just buttons on the computer, sending out emails. I'm like,
I wonder if
weren't you with me yesterday when he
improved? Has your spelling improved because of his button pushing?
Absolutely, it has. We were driving in the car, and my wife called, and it was my son.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
he's just checking. Hey, what's up?
He's good at computers.
Where you at?
So you kick it off, or you want me to kick it off?
I'll kick it off. We have a huge goal in 2018.
Yes.
We have a massive goal in 2018, and that is in May we should theoretically break ground on our very first real estate development.
Yep.
We're talking construction budgets of over $1 million. So we're gonna have to understand how to meet the budget, how to build the thing. There's one, our favorite contractor, Brian Tinker. Shout out Brian Tinker. I'm actually I don't know if I told you this, but I would love to hire him on an hourly basis just to help out with stuff I don't know about, because there are things that I admittedly do not know about.
No way.
Like what happens? What is the first? I know excavation and understand that, but laying the groundwork for where the pipes come up and all of that stuff, hooking into the city. There are parts of construction, admittedly, that I'm like, whew, we should really call a sage in, pay him a fee, an hourly fee that he deserves.
And maybe we should get together our whole plan of attack. This is how we want to do it. This is what we think are the stages. But what happens between, I know we're going to dig the hole, I know we're going to put in the footers, but then when we put in the wall for the foundation, like, are they putting in holes? Are they planning for where the holes?
That's exactly. Like, I have all these stupid questions that honestly you would think I would know the answers to after doing as much building as I have, and even you inspecting stuff,
right?
But I don't. There's holes that are falling short. So that is our big goal, and our goal, I think, is to try to have them sold by Q1 or Q2 of 2019. Nobody know quarter one, quarter two.
Oh yeah,
because
if we can't build this, we got to build this in a year, man.
It's got to be built and sold in a year or less, because I've always had the 2020 prediction, and that's when the downturn is going to happen again. The Fed's going to increase interest rates 3 times next year. They've already increased it 3 times this year, and that's what happens when they increase interest rates, and the business cycle starts to go downhill again. So it's like we're racing to the finish line. I feel like my whole life is always right to the edge.
If we start in May, I want to have them CO by the end of the year and sold.
That would be ideal. And you and I have talked about a couple of different options of, how can we
prefabs.
How can we modularize this thing so that maybe we cut building time down by a third. So my whole goal is, because it's going to be great that we have a really good core group of guys now, group of employees at F9.
Yep.
A really awesome team. and we even hired one more full time.
Yep.
That's going to start after the first, and it's just I feel like okay after the first, Lance puts his developer / construction hat on, and that's kind of it for me. Besides overseeing, all the architecture projects that I still got going.
As long as, and you know this, I don't know how else to say this. As long as you got enough work coming in for those guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like here we go again. One more ball to juggle.
Yeah.
Like one of our professors said, and when you first start out, you're going to be able to juggle 3 balls, and by the end, you should be able to juggle a dozen, and then that's what makes up an architect.
Okay, let me give you my goals, and you can't interrupt because you'll just don't interrupt this train of logic.
I'm not the interrupter here.
I am the interrupter. Okay, so next year, my goals is I want to become an architect. I have a money goal. Right? I want to sell 1,000 books. And then I have this picture of just a house in my head. I have no idea what that means. Right? So I took these goals and I got a huge piece of paper and I just drew a picture of a stamp, an architectural stamp. And I thought there was 6 tests.
You did
but
this
I'm doing
today?
the 5 tests.
Oh, okay.
Mister, I'm not an interrupter. I'm not an interrupter, he says. Then I just drew a picture of a little house, stupid little house, right? Axonometric, very simple. Then a $sign with just some money on there, and then a book, right? So those are my huge goals that I want to do for next year. And guess what? Those were the goals from last year, so I'm going to give you an update of how those goals went.
Okay.
Because I feel like every time people do a goal episode, okay, everyone does a goal episode, or a lot of people talk about them. But do you ever get, hey, how did your goals from last year go? Did you do them? Did you not do them? Are you just setting goals and then not following up on them? Like, honestly, you'll hear other podcasts, goals. Did they talk about their other goals? What worked and what didn't, and how you achieved those goals? So that's what I want to talk about. That's why I set it up that way.
Interesting.
Right? So the first goal of becoming an architect, I did. And the way that I did that was waking up at 5 a.m, studying until work, studying at lunch, and then studying at night. And sometimes I would wane off that a little bit, and then I'd have to ramp it back up. So like I accomplished that one just by the first, it was 6 months. I beat you by what, 2 days?
1 day.
1 day?
Don't get it twisted. 4
days.
Day. But I bet if we compared scores once again, I would be better than him. But you can't do it.
You know, every time I say this, it's going to grow in the amount of days. 49 days I beat you by. But honestly, then the other one I thought, with the picture of the house, I thought, like, what if I could just save enough money to put money for land? That was my real thought. But what happened in the middle of my testing, and you know this, is that we sold our house, and then the same day that we sold our house, I found the new house, put a bid on it, and a month later we were in that house.
Yep.
So that one came to fruition, right? The money goal, I'm not going to make that, I don't think, unless my Bitcoin, this is speculation.
I knew we could not get through a podcast without one Bitcoin.
Yeah. So who knows? We still got a week. 2 weeks to go.
And like I said, there's going to be the Bitcoin bump at the end of the year because everybody's going to be sitting around the table, and then Grandma's going to be like, "What is this Bitcoin?" And then John's the geeky one in the family.
Yep.
He's going to go, well, "Grandma, check it out."
Yeah.
And he's gonna buy her some Bitcoin.
If it hits my number that I have on my wall,
Yeah.
if my Blockfolio hits that number, and it's not a small number on my wall, I almost have to say synchronicity and take it out. I don't know.
Ooh.
If it hits that number, because
You have a number. Okay,
I'll show you
where's
my house. You can come see it. It's in my pantry.
Oh, nice. You have a vision board.
Yeah. It's those 4 drawings that I just described.
All right. Now, okay, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Can I tell you about the stuff that I didn't accomplish this year?
Wait, I'm going to sum up. I'll be very quick here. And then the book
he will
one.
be quick.
So I accomplished 2 of the 4 goals, 50% cleanly by that dedication. I've still been getting up at 5 a.m. And doing all that. But honestly, doing the test and then selling a house, moving into an apartment, and then moving into another house, that first 6 months, I think, killed me. Meaning, like, I think I got burnt out. So
He got crabby, that's for sure. I can tell you that.
yeah,
Honestly, the patience level, I've never seen Alex have less of a patience level in my life until about that mark. And I'm like, who are we even dealing with?
And no, what's so crazy is that when that started, last year started, remember that we just finished up the 2 tiny houses, which was crazy. And I just finished up having a baby. Like literally the stress level from that first 6 months and then 3 months backwards.
Yeah.
Could you, I mean, you can imagine because we went through it.
I'm just over it. Just over that whole, honestly, for 1 year ago today was just brutal. I was coming home. It was just brutal. One of the most brutal things I've ever built in my life. Just,
I think
So
literally
stressful.
1 year ago today, I think you said, I'm off the job site for the next 2 weeks.
yeah. And I honestly neglected my architecture clients so badly that I had to just sit on the couch for a week, and my body, and had to sit on the couch for a week and say, okay, you guys, I've done all I can. I mean, because the super hard parts were done, but everybody knows the last 5% of anything takes the longest.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of button-up work. But yeah, I had to just lay down and iPad everything, and then have Jackson pick me up. We get back to reality.
Yeah, yeah. So anyways, my lessons, that takeaway, okay, I was able to crush the first 2 goals in half a year. So theoretically, I could have crushed the next 2 goals, but I didn't have enough time or energy. So maybe somehow I need to still have that dedication, but maybe balance it out so that I can go through. So in that board with those 4 pictures, underneath it is breaking into 12 months. And then those 12 months.
Tell everybody when you made this board. Did you do it typical Al style after the first on New Year's Day?
Yeah, New Year's Day.
Yeah. So here's what Alex has done, and I love that Alex does this because we believe in manifesting your reality. You got to have a vision board and really believe in the vision board and then go out and do the vision board, right?
Yep.
You can't just do the vision board and then just say, oh, now because I did the vision board, it's going to happen. No, there's a lot of doing involved, right?
And that's where I'm getting by. Each month there was a specific task, and then there was a checklist like, did I wake up at 5 a.m.? Yes or no. You check it or you don't check it. I also lost some weight because Lance would make fun of me. So that was also on there.
He is the least chubby Al we've ever had in December.
December. Because I got that winter weight from the north.
From Minnesota.
It's insulation.
Exactly. Yep. German background, the whole thing. So,
okay.
So every year I do the same thing now too, in my own way. And actually, my family did it last year. So that leads me to, can I tell you about what I failed at this year?
Yeah. I think that's important.
Yeah, one of the big things I failed at, and I think maybe I wanted it more than you, is I wanted a TV show. I wanted a freaking series. Because Joe Rogan says this all the time, like, then you get that FU money. And what that FU money means is you get residuals, and that's huge. To put part of your income on just residual income is massive because it really frees up part of your mind. It frees up part of like the entrepreneurial spirit, literally your soul, like. So, being financially stable in that way is freedom. It equals freedom.
Well, again, the end of the year is wrapping up, so who knows? You could chalk that up to a loss. But we did crush that interview with those one people.
Oh man, we tried
crushed
hard.
that hard.
Yep.
With the one TV producers.
Knowing that though, Al, I'm not pushing for it anymore. I'm kind of over the whole idea. That was one of my biggest ones. I was like, TV show. We're getting a series. We're getting a series. And,
can you imagine how stressful that would have been too?
I'm kind of glad it didn't happen. Yeah. I'm kind of glad just Bitcoin happened.
I wanted to bring it up. I'm glad you brought it up.
So
okay, keep going over the review.
So that was my big failure for the year, but I'm okay with that because I think now, even now we're talking it out now, yeah, that would have been stressful. It is stressful. Just that one stupid episode that we filmed. It's a lot of work. It really is work. Like these actors, and not even actors, just people, they film for HGTV. It's work. It's a whole day of rehearsing, and it's annoying.
Honestly, I don't know how we would have had the time. I feel like I've been busy. I don't know how we would have done it if we would have got it.
Yep. But the big goal that we did accomplish was we secured land, and that's huge.
Yes.
That's huge. And honestly, by the grace of the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, it was a very interesting way about how we got it. And we've talked about it on the previous podcast.
Yeah. So please go start from the beginning and listen to every podcast.
Every single one over the break, because you're going to have nothing to do at the end of this year. Again, is 2018 or 2017. So I don't know. I feel like I did what you did with, you did half of your goals and then you didn't do half of your goals.
Yeah.
So for me, that was the two big ones. Oh, and then,
should a goal in next year to do 75% of your goals?
Yeah, maybe.
I might write that down. Accomplish 75% of my goals.
Yeah. So there you go. I don't know. Goals are good. What moving ahead? Besides the development, what do you got? Any sneak peeks for anybody?
I have sneak peeks, but it's not figured out because it's not New Year's Day.
Oh, I have one for 2018 already.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to meet Nick and his family, and for our families to hang out for at least a day or two in Florida in March.
Can you high five him for me?
I'm gonna high five him. Yeah.
So my sneak peek. One is the first one is to refocus. It's general. It's have a wonderful family life, and I've already kind of started that. That means
having another baby.
That does not mean having another baby whatsoever. That means more focus when I'm at home. That's what that means. Putting away the phone, and then really
especially putting away the phone for sure.
Exactly. When I'm playing with Atlas, not being distracted. Just that's what that means, right? Mark 2, which is you talked about our development. Let's accomplish that. Here's a big one. I want to pay off my house. I want to pay off
2018.
I don't know. I think it'll be by 2020, but I still want to have that because who knows if it will come through, this Bitcoin speculation. Who knows if it will? I might just turn it into, okay, how can I save and then start chipping away at it too.
Yeah, I do like the double payments or something like that.
Something. Because then I think you have that FU freedom where that payment goes away.
And a crazy idea that I brought up to Al is
and then do 75% of my goals.
Yeah, exactly. So the crazy idea, which isn't crazy because you hear of all these people doing, like you hear of people like Tim Ferriss, who else? There's some other entrepreneurs that you listen to that where they finally get that financial freedom. They make enough money where they don't have to worry about working 9 to 5 every day.
Yeah.
And they take a year off, for us that would be too much. So I brought it up to Al and I said, man, if we really did that, isn't that an interesting caveat to add to that goal of paying off your mortgage and paying off our mortgage, paying off our trucks, being literally debt free minus the stupid taxes, property and stuff.
Yeah, someone has to pay for the roads and lands.
I got to pay for all those roads.
Yeah, unless they make them all toll roads, and then yet somehow you're still paying taxes. But
so I said, would you ever take a year off? And I was so glad. I was like, it's too much. Oh, good. Thank God. I thought it was too. My wife loved the idea. She's like, oh, yeah, take a whole year off. You should do that. You deserve. I'm like, nope, that's crazy talk. That's almost stir crazy. You can't garden all year. What am I going to do? So then.
I honestly can't imagine. And
within. So what we settled on was maybe at least a month. At least a month.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a summer. And I think if you ever get in that position, or I mean, this is like reaching, like this
but this
take a lot of effort.
A couple years,
right? This is gonna take that is a literal goal of mine before the age of 40. I've got it set in my head now to somehow free yourself for those 3 months, not work, and then you read all these books that you've been wanting to read, or take this trip that you've been wanting to take, and then completely free your mind, because it seems like these guys who do that come back after that, and then they start Amazon, or they start they do this new thing that just completely revolutionizes some facet of society.
You know what I could almost see now? I could see easily a month and a half summer, and what I would do, just because like you might go to Europe or do whatever, my baby's too little, is I might do an RV trip.
America.
Just
solid Americanism.
Yeah.
Good for you.
How cool
what is the last state you'll visit?
Ooh, man, I visited a lot of the bad ones already. Wyoming, I'm talking to you, looking straight at you.
A lot of space, though.
A lot of space there. Which one would I not?
No, last. Which one would you last? And it's just the 48 contiguous, not the.
Oh, you mean like?
Or just
I'm gonna.
I guess.
West Virginia. No offense to you. I just don't want to squeal like a pig.
I want to go to... Yeah, that's a good one. What about Rhode Island? Like, is that even a place?
Annie says the fall. The leaves in the fall will be beautiful.
Fair enough. Yeah, you'd have to do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. New Jersey. I've already been there. It's like you kind of go to New Jersey.
If you go to New York, you're basically in New Jersey. Kind of. Like you see it, so it's good enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Okay. I think we're at Nick Reed's.
Nick Reed's time. Awesome. He's back. He was not back last time, right? No, he was back. I forget.
I don't even pay attention to Nick.
Okay, here we go.
Hello, best friends. I hope you all had a great couple of weeks. Sorry I missed you all last Friday. I was in a field, gazing upon a flock of sheep. A reading. Curiosity. Always be curious. While many firms emphasize recruiting for intelligence, I think they should equally consider factoring in curiosity. Intelligence sums up how effective you are at problem solving and signals how much expert knowledge you have stockpiled. This combination helps people evaluate your technical capabilities as a service professional. On the other hand, curiosity signals how hungry you are to learn new things and how wide your range of interest is. The stronger your curiosity, the more fields you'll explore, like a field with a flock of sheep. The more you explore, the more likely you are to find innovative solutions and excel at cross-pollination. Dave Master wrote in his book, Managing the Professional Service Firm, what a group does with its billable time determines its income for the year. What it does with its non-billable time determines its future. Once again, the words of Art Gensler, except the bit about the sheep. Lance, you want to make me cry? Put on a video of a soldier's surprise homecoming, or dog being rescued. Now you can imagine, I am a hysterical wreck when it's a soldier's surprise homecoming to his or her dog. Tearing up just thinking about it. Toodles!
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we on?
We are on.
Okay, there we go.
Sorry.
The last quote. What a group does with its billable times determines its income. Very true. Makes sense. What it does with its non-billable time determines its future.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, because not only does that go with these extra side projects, meaning the tiny houses were a side project, which leads into the development project, which is basically my non-billable time.
Yep.
Right? And then also this Bitcoin thing, we don't even know where that's going. That
Who
could
knows?
go in the tank. Doesn't matter.
Could lose it all, get laughed at.
Yep. But then also when you
Not
talk
lose
about
it all.
that break, that month, 2 month, 3 month
What do
break.
you do with that time? Exactly.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. And then the curiosity thing too, because in intelligence we really look forward to, but I want to segue into something, but if you want to, do you have any comments on the reading?
Well, Nick, I'm going to try to find a video like that for you.
Yeah, there you go. So intelligence. So we got a drawing about transformer locations and gas piping diagrams and all that stuff. And this is a story about how younger people, how if you just think slightly different, how you can be much more valuable than even intelligent people. So we get this diagram, and this is accepted practice. They have like T's for transformers, and I knew that's what we were talking about. And they just had triangles. They had big triangles. That's all they had. And then they had like P's for pedestals, and then they had lines G for gas, and they had a bunch of other stuff. No legend whatsoever. No legend. Like,
That's tough.
what are you doing? What are you doing? And then two, they didn't tell us how big the transformers were and what the clearances were. And they put them right in the middle of sidewalks, right up next to our property line. And then the buildings are right next to the sidewalk. So like we had a meeting and we had to tell them and we had to tell, okay, those won't fit there. Then we had to find other locations. Then I said, okay, how big are they? So then I drew them. I go, okay, what are the clearances? And then we could move them around. But what's crazy is that we gave them DWGs. They know what size to put in there. They know what the clearances are. How they don't have that as like a block and put that in there. So it is acceptable that people give you drawings with no legends and with just like dots representing stuff. So do you know how much you'd crush it? Do you know how much you'd impress us if you worked as one of our consultants and put a legend on shit and figured things out? You know what I mean? Like I'd be like, oh, can we hire that dude?
Can we hire that guy?
He kind of thought.
I know.
And what I've been telling my guys, we've been doing some tricky foundations. We have about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buildings. And each unit, each 45 unit foundation change. And then we have drops in them. You know the stories of drops and level changes. And I have a main guy on it, and then we have one guy that's going to be full times later. And I go, your goal, and I told him how to do it and what I want it to look like. I go, but your goal is that if you had to print out these page and I sent you to the site, you could tell the contractor what height everything is, what the distance is. And I go, you can't look at a computer. I go, that's your goal. Pretend like I am putting you out on that site. Guy just out of college that barely knows nothing, and you're in charge. It better be that clear to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
I had a student tell me, try to change all their drawings to 3/8 inch equals a foot today. And I had to tell him no. Yeah. And I go, do you know what would happen if you tried that? This is going to be a structural engineer one day.
Yeah.
He goes, I go, do you know what would happen to you if you put out a set of drawings that were 3/8 inch equals a foot? Floor plans. I'm talking floor plans.
Yeah.
I go, a contractor would murder you. I go, he would kill you. He would take your head and pull it off. And he just thought I was joking, but I was so serious about it. I mean, I was half joking.
Yeah.
And then he goes, well, running out of time. Can I just, they look good on the sheets though, right? And I go, I will murder your grade.
That is awesome.
I had such a good day in class by myself today.
Yeah.
It was jokes after jokes after jokes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was some like Bitcoin talk with some of the kids that are nerds. And it was awesome.
That reminds me of my comment during finals when I told someone that his layout was suspect and that he was committing a crime against space.
Yes, you are committing a crime against space planning.
Yeah, this entry was huge. And I go, oh, that he had a sitting room that was closing. I was like, it's very, very suspect. And I go, I feel like that's a crime against space.
Oh, that was literally your best joke of the month.
Yeah. Year. Maybe ever.
Maybe ever.
Maybe ever.
It was really good. Yeah. No, man, think about what you can do in that downtime. And I hope every single...
Well, people are going to start getting downtime. It's Christmas.
That's where I'm going with this. Not only that, but I'm telling you, within a couple years, we're going to be hitting that recession again, unless some miracle happens. I have no idea. But we're overdue. So
sure.
If you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, think about what you can do during that time where you're just paying your bills. You know you have extra time to do. How can you improve your template? How can you improve yourself? How can you improve your firm? How can you make yourself faster? What other skill can you learn so that you're prepared for when you start coming out of that recession again? You're ready to rock it. You're ready to completely rock it.
And then how can you preempt it by maybe paying off some debt, some mortgages, some houses, so that it's not as stressful?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. So
Critical.
That's our advice. Let's go to best and worst advice.
Yeah. So best and worst advice today was actually a recommendation from our good friend Mark. And
was this Mark LePage or our teacher, Mark?
Mark LePage, yep. Okay. So today we have on Mia Scharpie. She is the founder of Creativity Agency. So if you go to creativityagencyco.com.
Do you think she has my book, Creativity Code?
Oh, we should send her a complimentary.
There you go.
One for being on the show for sure. So she's the founder of the Creativity Agency, and she's a systems thinker and a change maker with a creative soul. She's been building community around social issues for as long as she can remember, and she deeply believes in the power of the creative and the visual to capture hearts and generate excitement and interaction. Holy cow, she really does need the book. Not that she isn't already creative, but it can't hurt, right?
No, but you don't mean like she needs it. She'll probably dig it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's what you mean to say.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, she would dig it. Mia started Creativity Agency to help impact focused organizations to get their messages heard and take their programs and initiatives to the next level. Whether it's a campaign, a series of webinars, or a training kit, Creative Agency's comprehensive graphics and strategy that help you connect with your community and make the ultimate impact you're seeking. So without further ado, then here we have Mia.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me. My name is Mia Scharpie. I run Build Yourself Workshop, which is a career advancement training company for women in creative fields. I teach at the Boston Society of Architects, and I also teach programs online on things like growing in your career, building your credit and visibility, and negotiating and goal setting. So it's a really good time of year for goal setting. And so my best advice is going to be some weird but cool advice that's changed the way that I think about goal setting. And it comes from a woman named Kathleen Shannon, who runs a podcast called Being Boss, which is for creative entrepreneurs. And so Kathleen has this method that she calls the chalkboard method, where she's got a chalkboard in her office, and she, at the beginning of a quarter, she'll put up these boxes for clients that she wants to land, right? She might have space for 12 clients. She doesn't do architecture. She does coaching and branding work, so she can take on more clients at a time. But, she'll put up a number of boxes, and the way she describes it, because she's incredibly, she's a self-described woo-woo person, is that when you create a hole in the universe rushes in to fill that hole. And, I don't know if I've ever been able to totally, swallow that explanation, but I like it. And I tried it a couple of years ago when I was first starting my business. And I put 6 boxes for, and I wanted to land really small. I wanted to land $5,000 projects. And then, I put it up on a poster board, but then, it got covered by something else. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then it was a couple of, weeks later that I realized it was still there, and I uncovered it. And I was like, oh, wait a second. Because I just landed one $30,000 project, and it was like, whoa, okay, this is funny. And since then, I've used the chalkboard method a couple of times, and I even use the chalkboard method. I drew a hole that was person shaped, and I wrote all the qualities that I wanted in a partner. And I looked at it a number of months later, and I'd found someone. So I don't know what to tell you. It's a little woo-woo. Think about it as whether the universe is delivering you everything that you want and need, or whether it's just the power of self-suggestion. I think it's really, really useful, because I think being able to say, here's what I want, here's what would be plan A for me, here's what would be something super, super wonderful and dreamy and fabulous, and I'm going to put it out there because I need to at least have the audacity to want it, is really useful. And I think that kind of goal setting can help us get out of the day-to-day of just trying to bring in that next client and trying to deliver the work. It helps us create almost a North Star that gives us direction and vision. And it doesn't have to be about money. It can be about a specific opportunity or a specific project that you want to do.
Maya.
Come on, Lance. Ask how to pronounce your guests' names for once, you loser, Lance.
That's not where I was going. Where I was going is when you were reading that long intro and you stopped. You said, I haven't listened to this yet. And I go, me either. And I go, we're going to have to cut out a lot if it's junk, because we won't put, junk advice on the podcast. And then when she started talking about goals, you're like, oh, this is perfectly fits into exactly what we're saying. Or talking about.
I hate to spoil it for our listeners, but a lot of times everything just falls into place and inside the firm, and I mean topical wise. Well, my mouth dropped when I started listening to her. I was like, oh God, this is absolutely perfect. It is perfect.
What's cool about what she said is I immediately I have my little journal here. I put boxes next to my goals. just
I like that.
Just
well,
like
you even talked about check marks.
Yeah,
checking stuff off.
And where I think so. The woo, I'm fine with the woo.
The woo is real. I don't care what anybody says. You can refute what is, but it's real. The woo is real. Your mind is powerful.
Yep. And I think this is where the power of the subconscious comes from. So you've heard me talk about, and I know you have, Lance, the OODA loop, right? The military, where there's 2 planes. Our US F-15 was not as good as the MiG fighter during the Korean War. It wasn't the F-15. It was whatever they had at the time. Yeah. And they had to figure out why we were winning the battles in the air, because it's dire consequences, like what's going on. And it all was because we had a round top and they had a triangular top, and they couldn't see, so they couldn't make decisions, right? Mm-hmm. So in the book, Bigger, Smarter, Faster, Better, by Charles Duhigg, I don't know, you'll find it if you Google that. He talks about, they studied CEOs, and they go that one of the key differences that they found was that those CEOs that propelled and stayed the longest, they would plan out their day in their head. He goes, what this does is that when you are going in your task for your day and something unexpected happens. You go, oh, this wasn't part of my plan. I either discard it or it's more important than what I had planned. So now I know I should do it. It's giving you that feedback loop. So when you write something down, the only way I can explain it scientifically, because I believe the woo-woo factor might be there too, is that your brain's going like, oh, am I making a decision that's towards one of those boxes or not? So you just make small adjustments, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I filled that box because you made those small adjustments subconsciously or even consciously, either way. And that makes sense to me. That almost proves the woo-woo.
Exactly. Yeah. How does your subconscious not follow your conscious, right? I think, because if you're conscious,
that's why you call it sub.
Exactly, right? It's following your direction. So if you're not doing the chalkboard method or like Alice's
or how
method,
does your conscious not follow your subconscious if you put it back there?
Exactly. Who knows?
But I don't mean to just reverse it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if it's back there, maybe your conscious mind is taking from there, like, oh yeah, I should go left.
Yep.
Yeah.
So awesome. Cool. Fantastic advice. One shout out that Maya asked us to give was, she said, it would be great if you could mention when this goes out that spots are currently open in my goal setting program for multi-passionate creative women that starts in January. And then there's a link that Alex will put out on the show notes page to go check it out for any of our female listeners who are looking to go out there and set some awesome goals for yourself.
Yeah.
So
very cool. Very cool. So that's it.
Any parting words, Al?
Yes, parting words. Please, if we're talking about framework and planning out your day, if you are in the design field and you feel like supporting the podcast, buy the book, The Creativity Code, because it will also support you, because it will give you those roadmaps. It will give you those principles where you can say, oh, am I going towards this or against this? Am I improving or not? And it will give you a visual language of which to make decisions. So please do that. Please, if you want to learn Revit, there's not a better way that I know to learn Revit than through our Revit lift system. We teach people, and then when you come to our firm, we take our firm extremely seriously. So we have them go through the same program. We wouldn't train bad people. We need them to be up to speed extremely quickly and competent. So you can go to revitfurniture.com and get that, and you can support us.
Yeah, follow us on the Twitter, follow us on the Facebook, and if you love our podcast, the only thing we ask for Christmas is if you can leave us a 5-star review. If you're thinking about leaving a 1-star, you just put 5 stars right on top of that, and go to iTunes and leave us that good review. It helps us bring our numbers up, and it helps us motivate us to continue into 2018.
And it will automatically make you fulfill one of your goals.
Exactly. There we go. All right, see you next week.
Bye.